Welcome back to Beards and Brews. Hey, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe or follow no matter where you're listening. Not only does it help us out, but you'll know exactly when we have another one brewing. Gentlemen, over the past couple weeks, we've been watching some crazy, over-the-top movies. And I'm going to have to inch it out even further with Over the Top itself.
Oh,
Stallone was part of the fucking screenplay writers, all right? Oh, you down with OTT?
Oh, man, I don't know if this movie was written. Just going to put that out there.
you don't know that it was written.
Look, it makes more sense with him as one of the screenplay writers.
He was just like, hey, yo, I want to make a movie where arm wrestling does something cool, like wins a big tractor-trailer truck or something. Sly, no one's going to care about that. No one's going to care about a movie. Okay, have me, win my son under dubious circumstances or something. Yeah.
I signed papers. What more do you want?
Like, from the foundation up, it is just weird, and every decision's next to wrong, especially when it comes to the relationship between our buddy Sly and his kid in this movie. And we'll get to that.
Yeah. Growing up, I'd heard of this movie. All of my family is really big into the 80s for some reason. I'm going to guess rural West Virginia. It has something to do with it. But I've got a couple of cousins who talked so much about Over the Top. My cousin Adam would mention this every time he got a chance. I thought this was like a big heralded movie. It is not.
No, it's basically Cobra for kids.
Oh,
Yeah.
You thought Cobra? I was like, this is totally Bloodsport.
Oh,
Just
well, I thought
truckers and arm wrestling.
No, I totally thought Cobra because it's the same laziness and incompetence in filmmaking, but it's just PG-13.
No, I'm sorry. This movie is rated PG.
Oh, even better. I can slide it right next to Little Giant or whatever that soccer movie was.
Whoa. What's that cheerleader doing with a helmet on?
That's no cheerleader. That's my niece, Becky. She's pissed.
What I'm trying to say is, I like this movie a lot because it's so just corny. I couldn't believe some of the decisions this movie made when it comes to, relationships between two people. But at the same time, whereas, Cobra is just, this Reagan-fueled, underwritten mess of a fun time, this is just the same thing, just no Reagan and more child neglect.
Oh, I definitely think there's a little bit of Reagan in here. 1987. Yeah. He wants to wear his denim suit to his grandson's graduation, or his son's graduation, I'm sorry. And, just being the all-American badass up against these yuppies, I guess they're military brats is what they are, so I don't get what the big, you're turning your nose up to them. This kid was going to be a commissioned officer. What are you doing?
100%. Okay, so he picks him up from school. He's like, you little spoiled brat. Calls him a spoiled brat. Makes no fucking sense. Got everything handed to him. This kid is in military school. His education, his fucking rhetoric, the way that he is carrying himself is all beyond a 12-year-old. Hell, that kid is more mature than me. And he's talking shit to him because he ain't driving a truck and eating a fucking beefsteak at the local diner.
Yeah, you think you smart? You think you could ever rig up this arm pulling, this arm wrestling machine in your own tractor trailer? I bet you don't.
Man, Stallone was like, hey, why don't you drive my truck? And he does. So, I don't understand the argument there. He got all upset because the kid was calling him out left and right. Mm-hmm. To set the story straight, Ted beat Stallone rolls. Was like, hey, you don't know, but your mom's dead. I'm here to be a truck driver. I'm just I'm sorry?
Well, at this point, Mom is just sick. She's going... I thought she had cancer. Judging by the haircut, I thought she had cancer. Maybe that's just her normal haircut. But she's going under the knife. She just wants the father and the son to meet each other, have a relationship or whatever before, anything were to happen, whatever.
Yeah.
But the end result of this is Father Stallone is going to pick up the kid, drive him to California for her surgery.
The lie detector determined that was a lie.
But his real passion is in the arm wrestling.
Is it?
I guess so. What else does he do?
I'm honestly not convinced because later on in the movie, when it turns into some reality show thing with the arm wrestling nonsense, he has a little soliloquy moment with the camera. He's like, hey, I don't care about much, but this truck's real nice, and I'm a machine, and trucks are machines too.
It turns into an office style interview session with each one of the competitors.
Yeah.
And that was a choice.
This movie is all over the place. It is so crazy.
It is all over the top.
Oh,
that's why they call it that.
So this movie has what, like a 96-minute runtime? This movie's probably 15 minutes long.
no, 100%. 100%. There's all kinds of just like montages for absolutely nothing in this movie.
The 80s, you needed a montage. Somewhere in there. They fit a couple.
That's why I'm saying this is lazy. And to the benefit of the audience, because we get to, goof on it and stuff and have a good time. But like, there's a moment in this movie where this kid has his entire future in front of him, and this dipshit steals him and starts making him work out in front of his truck. And they're like, you know what? This whole scene's like that karate dude. Just make it all fucking that.
Yeah, we'll make it a karate movie, except instead of karate, I can't do karate. I can arm wrestle, though, or I can pretend.
It's Bloodsport, and he wants Tong Po. Give me Tong Po!
I don't know. Like, I understand, like, he was trying to get him on the same page, kind of, just across the board to be somewhat interested in the thing that he's doing so they can bond. But, like, I don't know how much bonding you're going to get out of making your son arm wrestle a truck.
And he makes no effort to reach across the aisle and learn about his kid's life at all, too. So it's just like, hey, you're with me now. You're gonna learn to drive this truck and maybe arm wrestle a little bit. Here, let's pick a fight with this kid in the arcade who's definitely twice your age.
Oh, you mean Bart Simpson in the flesh?
Dude, yes. That whole fucking scene was so uncomfortable because the kid sold it pretty good. He's got his little arm wrestle thing going on. He's on top of the pinball machine, and he gets slammed, and he goes outside and he cries because he's embarrassed because, as he should, he's a child, and he's never had to do this shit. And he's with a complete stranger doing weird stuff. But think about this. If you spent your whole life in a military school, everything's fairly, regimented. Suddenly you have this guy who's like, do whatever you want, fuck it. This kid's definitely going to lean into that. He's still a kid, you know what I'm saying?
Look, I came from a military family, and I know exactly how expensive those dress uniforms are. Fucking Sly takes this kid, tears the sleeves off it, and he's like, no, the sun's out, the gun's out. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what are you doing to this kid?
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, is that legal? Like, I don't know. I'm sure it probably is, but he, rips off the sleeves to make it some kind of a badass, biker battle vest or something. Like, that's not who this kid is. Let him be him. You be you.
Who wants a tuna sandwich? Was he some kind of a gay?
That's what it kind of feels like sometimes,
Yeah, and the whole thing is just judging this kid's choices in life, which are, as we've mentioned, obviously more mature than his father's choices. He wants a tuna fish sandwich on wheat, maybe a side salad. His father is going to go arm wrestle in Las Vegas.
Maybe you're right about having a little sprig of Reagan in this movie, because the relationships here are just basically just tearing down all the archetypes. Like, what are you, a square? No, just take them sleeves off, kid. Now you're cool as fuck. I don't know. It's insane. But it's not the only odd or terrible decision in this movie. I gotta talk about the kid's relationship with his mom, because there's a conversation between Sly and the kid in the car with the implication that Sly tried his best to stay in communication.
Mm-hmm.
And the mom never gave the kid these cards, these Christmas cards, these birthday cards for 10 years. And then out of the blue, this mom lands in the hospital. He's like, you know what? Please, go see your dad finally. He has my blessing.
Yeah!
Was she in the right mind? Somebody stop her from signing that will.
She definitely wasn't in the right mind when she had that haircut, because I thought she had cancer too. Evidently, she's supposed to be going under heart surgery, so... But that haircut, though.
I don't know, maybe Dr. Floby's just running around.
The Floby!
The Floby.
Sponsor us.
Here's the thing, though. Did you guys like how he suddenly got that Rambo jacket out of fucking nowhere?
I mean...
I assume he just kept it from First Blood.
The way he kind of skulks around this movie... it's very Rambo-esque. He just doesn't care. He's just kind of melancholy-go-lucky.
Okay, yeah.
Everybody wants a piece of Hawk Tua,
Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, he's the Hawk. Everybody's got their own sort of nickname. There's the Hawk and the Bull and the Bear, and they're all some kind of a gay archetype. Somebody's the Otter. I don't know. But the next guy that shows up is the Smasher. I remember him. Because he's like, hey, Hawk, I'm going to beat you. I'm going to fuck you up. Let's go back and set up a table or something. All right, well, he fucking lost.
To be honest, I believe like this guy could have been way more menacing because there are no stakes at this point, like at all.
Especially not if that kid's involved.
And everybody's kind of nice to him. Like he does kind of get stolen halfway through, but everybody's just like, you know what? Don't touch him or nothing, you know?
Yeah, so like a little bit into this. So the kid is on a trip on his way to California with his father. We see a bunch of like basically national park monuments. We go through like the Grand Canyon and Zion and places like that. So I don't know where the starting point is, but at some point,
right,
grandfather is like, I want my grandson back, find him at any cost. And that doesn't really amount to anything except for one little scene of kidnapping.
Right.
And it's resolved in like 5 minutes.
As any good parent should, though, this man has raised that child for 12 fucking years. That is his kid.
Yeah. Well, hell, the kid was like, hell with you, Gramps. I'm going with Sly. We're just going to road trip through Monument Valley, Utah for some reason and sing Holiday Road as we go.
Yeah, and you're not even going to have another real roll until Independence Day, so fuck you. I'm going with the cool guy.
Nice.
Tragedy struck the trucking community today as longtime trucker's wife, Hawk Tua, has passed away. She is survived by her slobber goblin, Mike Tua, and her father, BJ.
Man, this whole scene, probably the biggest laugh I got this whole movie. And it's like, it shouldn't be funny, even in the slightest. But this is what happens. So Hawk Tua and co. go to the hospital to visit the ailing wife/mother. Cool. It'd actually be nice to catch up with her because I have this awful question of like, why did you fucking put this kid through this shit? Anyhow, we don't get that because as soon as Sly walks up to the thing, the nurse gives the look to the doctor's like, hey, can you tell the fella I can't? Doctor walks over. Wife's dead.
I don't understand. What's going on? Wife's dead.
What's wrong with you? I say he did.
Sly immediately answers this line with smelling the fart, and guys.
Did you guys enjoy how after he smells the fart, his immediate reaction is to take his tow truck, back it up to the ocean to where its wheels are touching the cresting waves, and stare off wistfully like the Macho Man in that one photo?
Sometimes that's what you gotta do.
He wanted to get his toesies wet, but not actually get wet. Is that what it was? He wanted to get this little flap to say passing side or suicide, you know, and get him nice and washed off.
All washed. Get them all washed up before you go up the holler.
This is just like another attempt at this movie trying to reach 90 minutes. Like, if it wasn't for all those little miniature montages and these like little moments where the characters just by themselves while like it fade transitions from shot to shot, because that's the longest way you can do that.
Oh, yeah. And I feel like we should really just do a little check-in on how the boy is doing. This is a 12-year-old boy. His father has been gone, estranged from him for 10 years. He doesn't recognize him when he comes to pick him up. He's like, can I see some ID, please? I don't have a father. In the beginning, he's very antagonist towards his father. Like, his dad's just trying to get, like, you know, establish some relationship, and he's just like, you don't read good, do you? And then once we get into it, you start seeing there's a little bit here, a little bit there, and then by the time mom dies, it's just like, I would have been here if I could have just flown like we normally do on the private jet. And I didn't have to take this big old fucking detour through the Grand Canyon. This is your fault. I'm never seeing you again.
Everything he said was 100% true and just leveled Sly as a character. Any other movie, Sly's character might have had like a bit of a breakdown or just a moment to actually reflect, not just sit on the back of his fucking truck and just come up with a solution moving forward. Sly attends an arm wrestling competition.
Yep. And what about Grandpa's feelings? He even lays it down. I've just lost my daughter. She was the only family that I ever had. Aside from my grandson, you're going to take him away from me. I will have no one left in my life except for these millions of dollars. And Sly's just like, you know, you could keep having millions of dollars. I'm going to take this kid, though.
You are coming with me.
The old guy's even like, hey, dude, here's you the new truck. Here's you $500,000 in 93 money?
87.
Money, something like
87.
That? Old time money. 87 money. And he's like, just get the fuck out of here. You ain't got nothing invested in this kid. You don't even
Not a
care
thing.
about him. You sold your first truck to try to win a new truck. You're clearly gambling.
Yeah.
Go away.
Just keep doing the same shit you've been doing the last decade. Nothing will change except you have a new truck and $500,000.
He'll stay if I turn my hat around.
Oh,
yeah.
That's something we
Right.
haven't even mentioned. So in his little battles that he has on occasion at these truck stops, he does his arm wrestling. You know, if he has to really get serious, he takes his baseball cap, turns it around backwards like he's fucking Ash about to unleash
Yep.
the Pikachu on these motherfuckers.
Man, I absolutely hated that point in the movie where he explains it. Because, like, you know, as I'm watching, I'm texting you guys, just, like, bouncing ideas around for whatever. And, like, I got to a point where I was like, man, I can't wait to talk about how Sly has a switch that flips and turns him into a shit dad. Almost at the end of the movie, he's like, yeah, I just turned my head backwards and it's like a switch flips and I'm a shit dad.
He calls it a machine. I turn into a machine. Machines don't have children. By default, he is a shit dad.
Well, you know it's a machine, this truck. I need a truck.
What if it's a micro machine? They have kids.
That's my son, Mike. Micro machine.
Oh, damn it.
Anytime they were writing, I just kept thinking Sly and his little family stone. No, that's nothing? Okay. I was referencing the funk band Sly and the Family Stone.
Oh, I was referencing the Sylvester Stallone movie Rhinestone, where he's a country singer. Which might just be the same movie, just without this arm wrestling, now that I think about it.
Well, no, I'm a country singer. I go to Nashville, and then sometimes I gotta arm wrestle somebody every once in a while for a truck. Yeah.
That's the kind of move that sounds like an over-the-topper.
Ooh. And what I've got here today, it's kind of a special one. It's from the Alchemist from up in Vermont. This is a Heady Topper. 8.0 alcohol by volume can of India Pale Ale. I believe they call this a New England style, or at least it better be from Vermont, which means it's a hazy boy. Lots of fruit notes. Yep. Citrus, pineapple. This is kind of like where that whole trend started. This isn't the first, but this is the one that made everybody say, man, those are really fucking good. Let's do that. And then the whole country caught on. And they were right. This is really fucking good. You're going to have to light up that dolphin throughout, because this is a really fucking good beer. This is a great beer. It is super well balanced. You get a lot of that pineapple orange peel, so you get that bitterness back there too. But it is so well balanced, so smooth, so clean. This is a goddamn perfect beer.
I bet you it tastes better than that can of Valvoline dude drank before you arm wrestled Stallone.
Oh, what was that?
That was the worst case of trying to look badass I've seen in a long time. Because the first thought across everybody's mind, I assume, was just like, yeah, you're going to die. In fact,
Yeah.
he doesn't even have to arm wrestle you. He's just going to wait you out. It's like, hey, I got to go take a shit real fast. Come back and he'd be blue, you know?
Think about this. This happens. He drinks the Valvoline. He beats Stallone. All right? The next time you see him, he is drinking a glass of water, and he looks pale. That is not a joke. That is in the movie, and Stallone beats him.
My body's kicking back all that water.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what that is. Totally not about poisoning that you're incurring on yourself right now.
Yeah. But let's set the stage here. We can't go into this just kind of willy-nilly. This is the National Arm Wrestling Championships at the prestigious Hilton, right down on the Las Vegas Strip. We have this going on every television in the city, I assume, at least the ones in the airport. And Stallone is somehow all the way to the final 8 already. I'm not sure how this whole thing works, but we are told at least a dozen times how double elimination works.
Well, the only reason why they had to drill that in is because we got a scene where Sly loses outright, and you're supposed to be like, what the fuck? He's got to win, right?
You guys know he's got to lose once, right? That's how the script got. We got to let the audience know he's going to lose one. Double elimination. Everybody get that double elimination. He's going to lose once. Don't freak out too early.
I need this truck.
Well, Sly knows his audience. He knows he can't treat his audience like that.
What, smart?
Oh. I enjoyed that we get a montage yet again, much like Bloodsport with the Kumite, when Van Damme does the triple kick when it's the same kick replayed 3 times.
90 minutes.
Yeah.
90 minutes.
No,
And they meant it.
I do like the one time where it's just like not even really a contest. Stallone's just like, all right, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna put his hand on the thing real quick. I don't have to put in effort. I'm just gonna do it. Boom. Okay, we done.
What would you call this guy? His name is Bull something other, and he's a real professional arm wrestler. I guess that's a thing. That's cool.
Is he?
Whatever. Yeah, I looked it up because I was like, oh, dude, is that the final solution?
I just thought all of these guys were like understudies from American Gladiators. Like, is that not fucking Nitro?
Oh shit, it's late.
And Turbo and Ice? No,
Yeah.
those are the same kind of people.
Straight up, this is the final showdown, and Stallone is a quote-unquote big guy. The man that they put up against him, Rick the Bull Zumwalt, a real arm wrestler, when they put their hands together, Stallone's hand is no longer visible. And I immediately went, that's some bullshit. There's no way to win here.
Nope, just bull.
Hey,
Well, no, that's why you have to go over the top. It's not actually mentioned in the movie, but it's like a real technique, and I'm pretty sure it's illegal, is it not?
I think so. I think he's cheating.
Well, the whole movie, every time he wins a match, immediately like 3 or 4 people just shout, "He cheated! Get him!" And nothing happens like ever. In fact,
Yeah.
spoilers, the way he wins this last match is to basically tire the guy out, accidentally quotey fingers, let go. So they have to strap his ass in there like a mental patient, and then they go at it again, and he just scoots his little hands over this big dude's knuckles, and all of a sudden, this magical move turns this guy into jelly.
Mental patient? No, this is straight out of 1996 Bash at the Beach. Big Van Vader, the Stinger. This is the strap match.
It's time.
It's time. All right. Yeah, no, all of that's right, though.
Yeah, he makes an O-face, cheats to win with his bullshit switch grip, and everyone's like, he did it! And he only lost once, though. The big guy only lost once.
Well, maybe he lost to Valvoline earlier. We don't know.
Well, isn't the the second time, or am I thinking about a different guy? The one where he just like does it real quick and is like, no, I wasn't ready. No, wait, no, I wasn't ready.
He did that to the African American fella.
I think the big twist here would be Bart Simpson showing up again for a rematch, and he just like cleans his clock. That's the big ticket.
We really don't need to discuss it anymore, but there's no way the kid is beating this teenager. Like, I don't care what techniques he's been taught. No, this kid's twice his size. We've been through it. That was half the movie ago. That isn't realistic.
I'm really, really leaning into your ending there, Eric. The little boy shows up. He goes over the top on Stallone, wins. Stallone completely forgets about his quote-unquote son, adopts this boy instead. And
Oh my god.
Trucking around the U.S., going over the top on people, hustling for a career.
So this kid and his family, they all have the last name Cutler. So I've been dying to work in the phrase cutlet in there to refer to him somehow. This kid's the cutlet. I haven't, and that's one of my biggest regrets in my life right now.
Stallone wins the thing. He picks up little Cutlet. He just parades him around like a fucking trophy. The movie just stops, and that's the good ending? I don't believe it. I don't believe it for a second.
Yeah, no. Also, you placed an illegal bet on yourself. $7,000 on 20-1 odds on yourself. Like, okay, Pete Rose, he got away with it. This is Las Vegas. You're gonna get your legs broken.
No, he goes backstage after the fucking film ends, and they're like, "Hey, man, we're gonna take the championship away from you. You can't do that. That's cheating."
Let's go 3 for 3. Kidnapping. He already signed the papers. The kid is the grandpa's.
Yeah.
By a long shot.
Stallone's going to jail 3 times.
Good thing he's got an escape plan, right? Hey-o.
But despite his rocky... despite...
He's expendable.
Let me say, despite his rocky relationship with his grandfather, he does show up at their mansion, and let me tell you, I knew the second I saw his truck show up at this gate that he was driving this truck through his gate.
Yeah, because like it's just another thing to add to the laundry list of reckless things he does in this movie.
Yeah,
I mean, if he had showed up in like a tux and just be like, "I would like to see my son, please," that would surprise me.
So we got vandalism and breaking and entering. I didn't see him driving through the front door. I just saw him driving through the gate, but he drove through the whole fucking front door.
My guess is, like, when the cops show up, he just turns his hat backwards. Credits. That's the real ending.
Suicide by cop.
It's like what Rambo wanted or something.
For me, this movie is ass in one of the best ways. Like, you know what I mean? You're watching it, and all you can do is go, what the fuck? And then something else happens, and you go, what the fuck? And then something else happens, and you go, okay, I guess. And then you end up going, what the fuck again? And then the music never makes sense. It's always this sappy soundtrack. Holy shit. I mean, this movie has a theme song that plays at the very end. I mean, in my literal note here, to wrap it up, I wrote, it's ass in a fun way aside from music, but at the same time, the music is great in the worst way because it doesn't stop. IDK, it's fine. Movie.
I'm starting to realize that there's a solid chunk of Sylvester Stallone's filmography that are generally all the same movie, but the premise is slightly tweaked, and he just kind of just walks through the entire picture, not necessarily as the character, but just as himself. And I'm here for it. It's just goofy. Everything's wrong. But in an entertaining way. There's something comforting about Sly just kind of like walking up to you as you're watching the movie. He's like, hey, don't worry about it. And then you just don't. Just the hell with it. Over the top deserves its name.
Yeah, Brady, you reminded me that we didn't even talk about the music in this, so I'll just say soundtrack bad, score by Giorgio Moroder, fantastic. Aside from that, this movie was barely a movie. It was fun. I enjoyed it. It's not good at all. There's so many things in this movie that just doesn't make sense. This is not a good movie. Watch it anyway. You'll enjoy it.
Well, there you have it. That was Over the Top. If you have any strong feelings about the movie or the show, leave it in that comment section below.
Make sure you hit those like and subscribe buttons. Be sure to bash the bell icon or any other buttons that you got down there so you don't ever miss what we have brewing up next for you.
You can find us anywhere podcasts are available. Give us a listen. Sometimes we're funny. Sometimes we're a little over the top. But if you don't, I swear to goodness, I'll have my wife yell at you like she yelled at me over having to watch this movie. And like she yelled at me and Eric when we were trying to pick out a pie.